Hi, I'm Steve. Hi. Oh, I have a full 15 more seconds. By day, I'm the co-founder and head of product at Opsy. We're a monitoring company for microservices and AWS. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I am also the co-host of a podcast about developer experience design called Don't Make Me Code. There it is. We've had a lot of great guests on the show, and we've learned a ton about developer experience design, and I want to share with you some of the things we've learned by talking to all these people. First, for those who are unfamiliar, DX is exactly what it sounds like. It is user experience design for developers, and though our goals are the same as the rest of UX, our methods can be a lot different. And because we're kind of like the supply chain of the software industry, we can have an outsized impact on how software is made. So let's talk about that a bit. First, consumer products are made for consumption. Developer tools are made for making things. So if you want to convince people to use your product, show them how to make things with it and get them started early with that. Convince them that it's a good way to make things early. Affordances are the cues in the physical world that tell you whether to push or pull the door and whether the faucet is hot or cold. But if you have a web UI, you don't have physical affordances, and you might not even have a web UI. So if all you have are APIs, you better be damn sure your documentation is good. And the way you make your documentation good is by productizing it. You want great examples that reflect real customer use cases. You want boilerplate code that people can copy and paste. You want their API keys injected into it for them. You want this to be part of your product. Treat it that way. We're asking for a lot of trust. Are you running in production? If you go down, are you taking your customer down with you? Are you asking them to learn your API language? If you want to earn that trust, you better work for it. And the way you earn that trust is with transparency. You tell people how you work. You tell them how much you cost. You tell them the impact you're going to have on their environment. You be clear about all of this, and you earn that trust by being open and honest with it. Second, every development environment is unique. And your tool, sorry, I skipped a slide. Security is really important to this too. The way you handle MFA, the way you handle password strength, the way you handle API keys, all of those things are going to be judged as part of your user experience. Security is very, very important to this audience, as you all know. For example, when we started integrating with AWS, we effectively asked for root API keys during onboarding. That was a no-no. And we saw the results of that. So instead, we let people opt into creating a new role, creating new API keys. This took a few extra minutes, but not only were people happy to do this, it actually made our onboarding numbers go up. So it was a good choice. Dev environments are unique, so make sure your tool feels like an extension of that environment. Consumer tools don't need a lot of customization, but dev tools should feel and fit like a glove. Make sure you invest time in that. You want them using these tools every day. You also need to understand your segments well. The dev space is growing rapidly. You've got open source and SaaS tools. You've got tools for makers and managers. You've got tools for startups and enterprises. Know which segment you fall into, and that'll help you design your product for the right audience. Open source versus SaaS is an important one. If you're an open source tool, you're building a strong foundation of code that can be built on and extended by a community of developers. But if you're building a SaaS, you are making a lot of decisions for people. They're paying you to make their lives easier. So you want to make a lot of decisions for them and walk them down a path. Startups versus enterprises. If you're designing for a startup versus an enterprise, that's going to inform everything from how much you charge to how you onboard new people. And if you're trying to get a big company to overhaul their business practices to work with your tool, good luck. Make sure you're thinking about that early. Developers are going to be impressed with your ability to help them get the job done faster. They want powerful tools that make them work better, but managers are looking more broadly at the performance of the team. So how well is your tool going to work across teams, and how is the team going to perform better as a result of that? Your community is also really important in dev tools. You might even be relying on your community to make contributions back and help you build your product. So your values should be reflected in the community you're building. Make sure you know what your values are and you're bringing the right kind of people into your community. I get asked a lot about how to hire designers. This is a space that I still see as starved for good design. And when your pitch is, hey, come make our docs awesome, maybe I can see why. So let's talk about how to hire good people. You want people who want to make an impact. They could go to the awesome Facebook design team and tweak some landing page, but if they come to your company, they might have an opportunity to really influence how things are done and have a huge impact. So lean on that. Also, pretty much every designer I've talked to in this space has wanted to learn how to code. That's another big selling point for you. This is an opportunity where designers are going to be exposed to code and to developers, and they're going to get to learn a lot about both. So this is a good thing to emphasize with them. Design is also a team sport at DevTools companies. In the past year, I've had to learn how container scheduling works, how VPCs and subnets work. I cannot do any of this without the help of developers on the team. You need to work together on cross-functional teams to make sure that you come up with the best possible solutions. And I think that's it. I'm Steve. Hit me up on Twitter.